Hello, my name is Rory, and this is my second attempt at this video because apparently I didn't hit the record button last time. Yay! Not used to this. It's my first unboxing, or first video, really. So I've kind of already opened the box because I did that in my last video. But we're going to go through it again. Okay? So this is for the Dungeon Fantasy role-playing game, which I've been looking forward to for about a year. GURPS, this is GURPS, which is a system for building pretty much anything you want. Dungeon Fantasy line was created a couple years ago as a way of streamlining GURPS. You use the basic rules, so you already have all the rules, but the main effort, it threw out a lot of stuff you didn't need if you wanted to play a dungeon game. You don't need to, your space rules and stuff like that because you're in a dungeon. And it created the main limit when you create a character. The GURPS system basically has you pick from a list of skills, advantages, disadvantages, whatever. You build a character like a Lego thing. All right. It can be time consuming, especially if you're new to the system. You're not really familiar with it, or you're not sure what you want. And the advantage of that is you get exactly what you want when you're done, up to your point limit. Okay. That's nice. But the disadvantage is it takes time, especially if you're new to the system. And again, also if you're indecisive or you just don't really what you want. And sometimes, you just basically suffer from a buffet of too many choices. So Dungeon Fantasy stripped that buffet down a lot to just the Dungeon Fantasy genre, which is let's go to the dungeon, kill stuff, take their loot, go to town. We don't even care what the town's called. Go to town, sell the stuff, make money so we can buy better gear to kill tougher monsters, or get advanced training so we learn new spells, whatever. So that's what that's all about. All right. Dungeon Fantasy role-playing game is a box set that takes those, combines the actual GURPS rules, with throwing out the stuff you won't need for the, game, and just having what you do need, and trying to make it it literally is a game that comes in a box, and you can play it out of the box. All right. I got some extra stuff because I'm a backer, Kickstarter backer. So I got this, it actually comes out next month, but the backers got it a little bit early. This is a, illuminated eye in the pie kind of die, eye in the pyramid die. Okay. So let's close that out here. Seal the little boxy thing. Comes in a handy little Ziploc box bag, which is kind of handy. Okay. Comes with these black stands. I got some multicolored ones and some extra black ones so that I have these little figure stands. Whoops. This is a little hex figure. It's got a little arrow for the face, which way it's facing. And then the little stand. Little card. I pulled out the cleric one in my last video. It slides in here. And it fits pretty nicely. So I don't, so you can see that, slide in there. Okay. See? So it's fairly stable. I mean, I'm not going to be throwing it around or anything like that. It'll come off probably. But, it's kind of handy because, you don't have to worry about bending. I put cardboard figures in there that shave off the cardboard as you're damaged because you have to squeeze them in so tight so they stay, but you damage every time you pop the cardboard guy in and out. You damage them and eventually they don't work anymore. So these here look like they'll probably have some longevity. That's pretty thick cardstock. And it's a front and a back so you can see the picture, and so it's kind of easy. And then the little arrow on the stand is kind of handy. With GURPS, you have all these facing changes. So I'm facing front. The two side hexes are my side hex, my front side hexes. My two rear side hexes, and then, of course, my back. And this helps me do that. All right. So I'm going to pop the box back in here real quick. Okay. In my last video, I went over, you know what? I'm going to go over this briefly again anyway. Take a little time. So extra stuff I got with the box that you may not get because, it depends. That they didn't come with a box. Dungeon Fantasy Companion. This is a supplement. It was part of the stretch goals. Okay. That has 3 additional books built into one. They're PDFs, traps. So a book on traps, which is kind of handy. And another adventure The box comes with one adventure. This is a sequel. And then a magic items, book on magic items. And there are small little books that bundled into one nice handy little thing. Cardboard Monsters. You see these here. Yeah, aren't those cool? Yep, exactly. Cardboard Monsters. Yay. So the Cardboard Monsters, there's quite a few. Elementals, a bunch of people, various random monsters. That'll get you there. These are kind of handy because they will stick in a box. The miniatures, if you played miniatures, they can be a little awkward carrying them around and heavy, especially lead miniatures. GURPS Zombies, I already owned a copy from last year when it came out, but it's, another box, or that as a bonus item or something. It's basically a book on zombies. Everything from Resident Evil zombies, fantasy zombies, B-fiction, whatever. How to be a GURPS GM. I've had the PDF from this by Mook for quite a while, but they're doing a printed copy for this expansion, and hopefully it'll be available on CreateSpace. Steve Jackson Games are doing pod releases now through Amazon and stuff, CreateSpace. So some books that are like, there's, people always want them. We don't have them in stock. Now you can make your own and get it, professionally bundled without having to, individually go through the hassle of, going through, there's different spaces where you can make your own. And this goes over how to run a GURPS campaign. And it has some rules that, it's not a copy of the basic set by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it's really thin. But it tells you where to look things up, what kind of rules you should be paying attention to, what kind of things you don't need, what's good for what kind of game, etc. Okay. This is the Dungeon Fantasy role-playing game box set. Yeah. Look at that art. That's cool. Okay. And then, we got some stuff here. All right. We open this up. I already took all the plastic off because, like I said, this is my second unboxing video. You've got 2 maps. Okay. These maps, they're kind of handy. You see, nice, good color. They're pretty. They're hex maps to go with the figures, and because GURPS uses those hex systems. Pretty decent size maps there. That'll fit on a kitchen table. That won't fit on an end table. But they're not so huge that you have to, have a special table. They'll fit on pretty much any kitchen table. All right. Let's take these books out first. Okay. So, came with black sets. I think there's about 8 in there. And 3d6 of the same kind I ordered extra for. Toss those in there. Okay. It's got a little spacer in the middle so that the books will, fit in there on top, and then your dice and stuff will fit in there. It's a little messy because I'm leaving them in the bags for now. And put my little clerk in there, too, so I don't lose it. Okay. These are the books that come in there. You like that? So some have the little spine or standard books, and some do not. We're going to first deal with the ones that do not. Dungeon Fantasy Monsters. See that? Yeah, monsters. Isn't that cool? Okay. The Adventure. I Smell a Rat. I don't really know much about it. I'm not going to read it because my GM may want to run it. I GM different stuff, and I'm in a couple of different groups, and I don't plan on running this adventure. I probably will use stuff from it later, but my main GM who's running the DF game is very likely to use it. So I spoiled the surprise. All right. So that's I Smell a Rat. It's an introductory adventure, and the companion has a sequel to it. Another rat, or I don't know. I forget what it is. But all right. Monsters. This is kind of cool. Look at that. You see all that? Okay. I do not expect to see these books in print outside of a box set. Okay. Some books, like the How to Be a GURPS GM, are going to be available. The companion, I expect the companion to be available eventually for people who want to add to it. It'll have an extra adventure, extra magic items. It's a good supplement. You bought the box set, you know, later on you want to add more to it, boom, there's the companion. It's a good one. The reason I think it's going to be available, I don't work for Steve Jackson Games, I have no official notice or anything like that, is it's got its own ISBN. I don't know what that means. International something book number. Okay? Basically, it's a number all books get assigned. And without that, there's problems printing them professionally and selling them through stores. So it's got the standard marketing blurb on the back. This is what you're going to see on a bookshelf. Okay? These, you know, this tells me that they made this and they plan on you releasing it for a book later. Okay? This doesn't have an ISBN. Or if it does, it's on the inner print, so it's going to be, it probably actually does have one. Yeah. I don't know, I can't tell. It's got the copyright information. It may or may not have an ISBN. But it doesn't have it on the box, so I don't expect to see these in print. I do hope to see some of them, especially spells. Well, no, actually all of them. I hope to see these in PDF format later, but I don't expect them to see on short shelves. But the companion one would make a good item for somebody who didn't get it with a Kickstarter. All right, so monsters on the back. This is awesome because instead of using the marketing stuff, which to be honest, you don't read that anyway, right? I mean, maybe when you're first looking for a book, but after you bought the book, you don't look at that. Well, right here, okay, instead of giving you that, they gave you stuff here to help you play the game. So the book on the back of the table, there's always tables we want to look up, stuff we want to look, rules or something we need to find quickly. Most of them they put on the back, and they put on the back related. So the Monsters book has facing stuff, size and speed range table. That's basically penalty for trying to hit something based on how far away they are. Penalty or bonus based on how big. I want to shoot a rabbit with my arrow. It's going to be a little harder than shooting a horse. Okay, assuming they're both standing still at the same distance. But if they're farther away, that's going to make it more penalty. Boom, it's all on one little chart. Wandering monsters. Oh, wait. How often do I roll to see if you got a wandering monster if you're camping? Oh, it's right there. It tells me. Yay. Okay, so wandering monsters will tell me. So right there on the thing, you know, parties camp for the night. I look and it says, oh, okay. You know, roll this often. Roll for you're conducting a long task. Oh, okay. So that's probably them trying to heal up, add bandage. All right. Okay, great. They're moving hourly when they're moving around indoors. You know, like wandering around a dungeon. So it tells me how often to roll on 3 dice and, you know, how often to roll. And then below that is what it comes up. So on a certain list, it's like safe. Nothing happened. Wanderer monster appears, you know, here it'll appear more often. There it'll appear. So it's like a 6 or less, 9 or less, 12 or less, or 15 or less based on, you know, the type of location. And then the frequency I already saw. Key monster information, where the advantages are, tells me what pages they are. Disadvantages tells me what pages they are. Classes, that's like undead, demonic, elemental, you know, stuff like that, tells me where to look. That's handy. GURPS always has a great table of contents and index, so you can usually find what you're looking for pretty quickly anyway. But it's kind of handy having it there. But this is a good use of information. Monsters, that's the cover. I don't know if I showed that or not, but it's cool. It's worth seeing again. There's a little card for creating new diseases and poisons and monsters and traps, which is kind of handy. Little card here. You see that? It's kind of like it actually fit like probably on a 4x6 index card from the looks of it. So I can just photocopy that and then glue them to cards, and handy format to make my new monsters, because what GM's not going to make new monsters. Of course, it's got the GURPS index. The last monster in the book is a zombie, alphabetical. Here's the picture of the zombie. Yeah, you see the zombie? You see that little thing in the middle there? Yeah, right there where the finger is. Yeah, okay. That is a stat block. Stat block is basic description of the stats for a monster. So it's got a paragraph introducing it, tells you what kind of things you're going to encounter them with, how often, why they exist, you know, about them. The stat block includes their attributes, their skills. So in this case, it's a zombie. It's got a punch, a shield bash, as somebody has a shield, and weapons. And it gives you different kinds of weapons: Morningstar, broadsword, axe. axe, broadsword, mace. Okay. So it tells you what they have, tells you how much damage they do, what your skill to hit is. So that basically is like, okay, so I have a 13 or less to hit with my punch. Roll 3d6. 12. I hit. 1d minus 1 crushing. Reach C, close combat. So right there in that little stat blocks tells me almost everything I need to know to run a monster. And for most monsters, it tells you everything you need to know. There are a few like, fire breath. Well, I might have to look into the special abilities. Okay. It tells what kind of skills they have, if any. What kind of spells might affect them. Funny. Different advantages or disadvantages they have. Like it's a zombie. It's undead. Okay. It doesn't bleed. It does that. That's all in the other one. Most of that I can assume because it's a zombie. I kind of know what they are. But the stat block, I'm not going to assume. I'm going to want to know what that. How many hit points does it have? Armor. That kind of thing. How much damage it does. Having that right there invisible for every monster in the book, that is handy. You just look and it's right there. It stands out. It's in the middle. It's a block, so it's very obvious. And then they have other things under there. Minotaur tells me how strong it is. Different things like that. Different weapons. It has a great axe. Its horns, kick, punch. A mold. Okay. Color. What the heck is color? If mold, it goes, okay. So mold has its own thing. That's not a new monster. That's a subcategory. So mold is obviously, green, red, whatever. And it goes in different colors and in texture, different things it'll tell you. It's like, this is mold is sticky. So you can't get it off. Oh, and it's eating my skin too. It's kind of handy. Goes over different things like that. Spiders, and then, big spiders, huge spiders, humongous spiders. Giant spiders, gladiatorial ape, so that's a kind of the ape's kind of ape, really, from the looks of it, based on its strength. There's dragons, electric jelly elementals, dragon, small dragon, large dragon, medium dragon, large dragon, a drog or angry half rock. Oh, that's a kind of a Vikingish undead type thing. Dragon, Doomchild, Demon, Dino Man, Reptile Man type thing. Some of the art's good. Some of it's, that's a demon from between the stars. Some of these are like the Cthulhu, Lovecraft type stuff. Things from beyond space and time. Others are, come from a history, our culture. Different cultures will have different monsters and stuff like that. It's a good, solid book with, it's not too thick. It'll obviously, it has all the monsters of the adventure, and GM can use this and make quite a few adventures of varying power levels. Most of the monsters are there designed for this level of the game. They'll have some others, but some of those are like a large dragon. I don't see most parties fighting and succeeding. Even if they are fairly experienced, unless they're really tough. But so it's got, good variety on there. All right. Exploits. No, you know what? Let's put exploits down last. All right. Adventurers is kind of like, mostly like the player's handbook. Adventurers, again, good art, huh? And look at that. Can you see that on the thing, the little mark there on the edge? So that means when the cover bends, it'll come up there and it, help with the spine and it help the binding stay on longer. Without that kind of thing, sometimes what happens is at the edge they get glued. So I put some quality into these books. So exploits is, adventures is the rule for building your adventures. Okay, so it's kind of like I said, player's handbook or whatever. Look on the back. Again, we're not wasting space with marketing blurbs. These are what you have. Okay, so skills, a list of skills by category, dex, IQ, health, will, perception based. So different categories of skills real quickly so I can look and see. That's not going to come up handy a lot for the PCs, but for the GM, it's like, okay, what is it? It's a good, quick way of looking. Is this skill, what? Sorry, what's that? Oh, yeah, it's a weapon skill. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's dex. Okay, yeah. And just right off the top, light walk. Now if you know these, you'll know off the top of your head what you are. But sometimes it's just handy to know what they are there. Um, if you're new, and it lists pretty much all the skills. I think GURPS, this doesn't have all the skills in GURPS, but it probably has all the skills that came with the book, because the DFRPG doesn't have all the GURPS skills. Again, it's streamlined for faster play. Probability of success is handy. Success rolls, so it tells you, what is a critical success, critical failure, regular success, regular failure. It tells you what the rolls are, what they mean, what happens. Probability of success is great for knowing the odds. So if something is a 12 or less, what percentage is that? It tells you. It's got a table. Task difficulty, that's an awesome addition to have right here on the back. So again, books are lying on the table. I turn it over. Oh yeah, that's okay. So if it's a trivial task, you get a bonus. It's easier. Well, this tells you how much of a bonus. If it's a hard task, well, what kind of hard? Is it just unfavorable? A difficult adventuring a task? Memorably difficult adventuring task? It's like something really, wow. Only the best in the land could do that, or something like that. So these are, good stuff. This goes over your skills, and it's like it tells you what your skills can do. Excuse me. How they work. GURPS is normally a character-based, point-based system where you can build anything you want within this rules of the setting and stuff. Like I'm not going to allow giants in my game for some reason, or this is a fantasy game, so no super scientists or gadgeteers. No Iron Man. You play a superhero game for that, which GURPS can do too. So each setting have their limits, but the overall system, because it supports everything, can get overwhelming. So this trims it down to just the fantasy genre, and in further creates classes. They call them professions in this one, which are templates, which basically is, instead of going through an entire book trying to build an individual character, here's the categories to choose from for certain types. Okay, so we've got barbarian, bard, cleric, druid, holy warrior, knight, martial artist, scout, swashbuckler, thief, and wizard. The names pretty much tell you what they are for the most part, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 professions, it looks like. So I know how to count. So 11 character classes. Now, again, you can mix and match them. So after you guys have been playing a while, you may want to take stuff from another one. And that's cool. If the GM allows that, the rules are already there, so he doesn't have to make up any new rules or come up with special things to make it possible. It's right there. He just says, yeah, sure. You find a trainer in town who's willing to teach you. Maybe one of the players can teach you. Boom, you're good to go. Okay? Well, what'll happen is, but in the basic game, just to keep it simple, it's like you want to play a ranger type. Okay, well, that's a scout. Archer, outdoorsy kind of thing. Well, I want to play kind of like Conan. Well, Conan's a barbarian, right? Yeah, okay. So, boom. Hey, barbarian. There it is. It's a class. I want to play a cleric. Okay, well, it's called cleric. That's hard. Bard. I mean, most of these are really obvious what they are. That allows you to play what you're looking for. And then you've got this list. So I'll pop down here. Here's Thief I opened up too. So Thief has, look at that. Okay, see the little brown? All right. So Thief describes, a paragraph telling you, this is what a thief is, okay? You're always going to, you have new people, they kind of want to know. Plus, my definition of thief might be different than yours, so it's handy to have it in the rules right there and say, oh, yeah, okay. So thief, you are a procurement expert, in quotes. Whatever anti-flattering terms others may use. You take things that need taking, and of course, the best stuff is inevitably in trapped chests behind locked doors, guarded by monsters and mazes. Classic dungeon fantasy genre. And then, so it tells you what the class is about in, real brief terms. Like I said, it's a paragraph. Then it goes into your attributes. Each class, has a list. It's like, well, you're a thief. You probably need more dicks than the wizard. Okay? So we just give you that. You don't need to be as smart as a wizard. We don't want you to be stupid, but you need to be, the wizard needs to be smart. That's his thing. So here's your stats. Tells you how many points they cost for, the point base, so you know it and get used to the system. It tells you your damage and stuff. So with a weapon, the thief does 1 die -1, or 1 die +1 if he's swinging. So thrusting damage, like with your dagger, and swinging, like, you know, where you get a leverage on it, is going to do more damage. Basic lift, that's how much you can carry. It's 24 pounds. So for 24 pounds, that's just one of the things. GURPS uses real world measurements for everything. Yards, you know, feet, and sorry for all non-Americans. It's basically an American system because it's an American game company. But 24 pounds. So it's not stone, which, okay, yeah, if you're English, you might know. But for a lot of people, it's like, you know, some systems use arbitrary measurements, and you don't know what it really means. The real world measurements help you with that. So 24 pounds, I know what that is. The basic lift, I can lift 24 pounds. Okay, it's one hand. It's like easy. All right. And then there's multipliers, which will be in another book about how, you know, I want to carry my backpack. How much weight can I do before getting slowed down? So it tells me how far I can move. So my basic move is 7, which means I'm a fast little sucker. Okay, well, maybe not little. If it's a halfling thief, then I'd be little. So that means 7. That means basically I can move 7 hexes, or, you know, yard at a time. Okay, basic move of 7 versus basic move of 5. Well, I move 2 faster than you are, so I can outrun you. Oh wow, okay. And you double that for like miles per hour if you're, you know, just regular running. You won't be running very long, but it's nice to have that, especially like, say, for horses or something. All right. So then it goes down to advantages. Every thief has this little block of advantages, and in this case, a further 30 points from this kind of 2-paragraph, but it's 2-column format, list of advantages. I just pick and I go, okay, that one costs 20, that one costs 12, that's 15. I pick and add to it. This allows my thief to be different than his thief, which is very nice for a party, okay? So I don't have to, you know, I've got a different idea that I want to, when I play a thief, I want to play this kind of thief. Or maybe I know we're hardly ever going to be stealing from people in town, so I'll cut back on certain, like, second story type skills. Focus on, say, getting through a trap chest. Then it has disadvantages that I pick, and, you know, another list. And then it has skills. Every thief has these skills. And then it'll have others, like a weapon type. So pick one of these 3-point blocks for melee packages. So blade and shield, single blade, or sword and dagger. So it's real cool. I'm playing a thief, and do I want to with a blade and shield, like sword and shield? Just a sword or a knife or something, or maybe a sword and dagger. I'm kind of more of a fencer, you know, swashbuckler type thief. Boom, I pick it. That tells me my skills, how much they have. I don't have to worry about points. It's all calculated for me. You know, I pick one of those 3. They're all the same. Later on, then it says one of these range skills. So bow, crossbow, sling, thrown weapons. So I pick, you know, bow gives me range. You trade-offs. But again, my thief gets to be something different than his thief. I mean, we can be the same if we want to be twins or whatever, but, you know, there. Then it's got all of these skills, and it's like, wow, that's a pretty good list of skills I get. And how good I am at all the skills. Right there on the sheet. How good am I at these skills? Okay? And then the final section, 7 points, you know, out of any of these skills. Okay? Are to improve. And some skills I can improve, in which case it tells me again what my value will be. Then it describes special advantages that I'll have, like catfall, which is falling down like a cat. Okay? That's that secondary skill. So I'm climbing around on the rooftops, and if I fall, it's kind of handy to have catfall so I don't hurt myself as much. High manual dexterity, sensitive touch, silence, gizmos. Those are little, you know, I just happen to have that in my pocket. So each class has their own set of abilities, and you can fairly quickly pick what you want, and it's all standing out. For those who are used to the template system in the other rest of GURPS, and here's like your basic lift encumbrance table and danger table and stuff like that, hit points. It describes the rules and tells you what a lot of this stuff is. But the regular template systems can be hard to read. It gives you a lot of choices, and they're separated by little bullets, and it can be awkward. This new format, which I hope going forward they put in all their new books, is much easier to read. It's great. I can quickly pick through that list and get there. Races. I have human, catfolk, dwarf, elf, gnome, half ogre, half orc, halfling. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, 9 races it looks like. So, and they're fairly standard races, except, catfolk will throw that one in there. And then, of course, the half-breeds. But halfling, gnome, elf, and dwarf, and human. Those are pretty much your standard core races in most fantasy settings. It lists your advantages, disadvantages. These are the generic ones that everybody's applicable to. Explains your skills, equipment. Everyone wants to know their weapons and stuff. How magic items work, miscellaneous gear, stuff like that. So that's kind of handy. Okay, it's decent sized book, but not too heavy. Soft cover, obviously, and art's a little light. It's got some good art though. I personally am not a big art fan, but some people it's like, oh wow, if the book didn't have awesome art, I don't want it. Well, go to an art show. But everybody each is their own. And I do know, if you make it visually appealing, you're more likely to get people into it. But I want content. I do like it broken up though, and they break it up with headings. Okay, you see those headings there? You can't read them too well, but you did the point. So headings, and in subheadings, so everything's organized in an efficient way, so I can quickly find what I want. So like, here's the martial artist. Okay, I went over their skill stuff. Then they have special abilities with chi mastery. So, wuxia, fantasy type monks that just able to do things that a real martial artist can't do. Okay. There, that way. Next one is spells. Spells is cool. Mages are awesome. Again, good cover. Okay, little wizard fighting, another wizard there. Nope, he's fighting a demon. Okay, and then some dwarf is standing there in the background going, yeah, I'll wait for you guys to get over. All right, here's your other stuff. See, look at that. Again, more tables. Each table is based on the book in the back. So it's got mana sanctity levels. Certain things will make spellcasting easier or harder with your cleric, druid, or mage. Resistance, how do you resist? Critical spell, Magicus Fickle. You roll on it, one of the risks of it. You roll, critical failure, something bad happens. Let's roll to see what it is. Normally in the other books, I dig out, go to the chart, have to remember what page it is. That's not hard in GURPS. They always have great indexes and table of contents, so you can usually find what you're looking for quickly. But here it's right there on the back of the book. I love that. Spell classes and what page to go looking up. So it's like, it's an information spell. Where is that? Oh, page 14. Okay, so I go to page 14 because the wizard wants to cast an information spell, which is a certain class or type of spell, like, Farseeing or something. And Scrying and, an area spell. Oh, he wants to cast, a cloud of flame or something. So that's page 12 to 13. So I know what page to go to look up something in the rules if I don't already have it memorized, because I haven't been playing the game for a while, which is real handy for, new people. And this is spells. This is good for, even if I, the GM, know all these rules, my players may not, especially if, I got a new player. He's been playing the game for a year with me, okay? But this is the first time he's been playing a wizard, so he doesn't know the spells. At the table, I can hand him the spell book, get back to me at the end of the game. But I can put it down there. He can grab there, thumb through it, and find it. He'll have his own list of spells. He'll have a couple of favorites that after a little while he'll know exactly what they do. But every once in a while, you want to cast a spell that you've hardly ever used, and this helps you find quickly what it does. Range modifiers for the spells. Rituals, basically high skill in a spell allows you to cast it quicker with less energy. Energy is important. That's what limits them. GURPS spell users aren't limited to one spell a day of a certain level or whatever, or 4 spells of this level or any of that. Jack Vance type inspired stuff. Instead, it's how much energy you have. You cast a spell, it tires you out. If you know it really well, it tires you out less. If it's a really big, powerful spell, it'll tire you out more. And if it's a little spell like a cantrip, it'll tire you out just a little bit. And if you know it really well, it won't even tire you out at all. You can cast that spell all day long. Okay? So that's what they are. Spells organized by college. Basically like illusion spells, healing, body control spells, elemental spells. They're broken down like fire, air, water. The Western classic elements. Earth, communication and empathy spells. So spells for talking to people and kind of getting along. Maybe mind controlling them. Mind control's a different college. But there's a lot of similarity there. Animal spells is good for your druid. Spells that summoning, controlling, or chasing away animals. I always like the repel animal spell. Great for getting all those bugs out of my blanket roll when I want to go to bed at night. And in all these spells here, you got, what is it, about 80 pages? About 70 pages, I think, of spells. There's some other things booking in that one, but about that many spells. So it's a good variety of spells. It goes over the rules: druidic spells, bardic spells, different ways of casting, and how it affects. I'm a bard, so I have to sing or have a musical instrument while I'm casting. I'm a mage versus a cleric. There's some differences. They use the same real overall rules, but they have some flavor differences. And all of that is in here, which makes it handy. The last book in the set is Exploits. Okay, this is kind of like the combat book. There's a little bit discussed in there in the other one, I think, in the game book. But this one's here. It's the GM's guide, basically. So this tells you it has the rules. I would recommend the players read this too. They don't have to, but it speeds things up if everybody at the table knows all the rules. Even if they have an idea, they don't have to memorize them. But if they know, like here, all of this. This is a little chart, a humanoid chart. Tells you your hit location. GURPS uses hit location. So it's like, I want to backstab somebody. Okay, well, that's a surprise attack. Here's your penalties. He can't defend because he doesn't see it coming. That's good, right? It adds options that makes gaming in GURPS a little more complicated, which can slow things down if people aren't familiar with the rules because they don't know, can I do that or not? And they have to ask questions, and they're there. But once they get the flow of it, it gives them more options. I mean, who hasn't played, a D&D game where they wanted to, stab somebody in the eye? I want to chop his head off. Well, you got to roll a natural 20. Okay, so I can't try to do it. I just have to get lucky and randomly, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, in GURPS, you can try that. I want to chop his head off with my axe. Okay. That's going to be harder than just hitting him with your axe, but you can try it. Roll to hit against your skill. Here's your penalty based on the location table, which I look up. Boom. Done. And if a player likes to do that all the time, like I got this dwarven fighter with his big axe, and he likes to chop people's heads off with the axe. Or maybe, say, their legs, okay? Oh, well then, after a while, since he does it all the time, that dwarf is going to know right off the tap, boom, leg, yeah, here's my penalty. He's going to know it, okay? And then there's a skill he can buy that's like, you know what, I'm going to make it so I'm better at chopping people's legs off. Different types of monsters are easier and harder to damage by certain things. That's listed here. There's a bunch of rules here. It's kind of handy. Obviously, I'm not going to discuss all of them or go over them. But the thing is, I want to get you feel. Grappling, that's something that, is good. How to slam somebody. Trample. Oh, no, the dragon ran over me. Yep, there's rules for it. Oh, I want to attack. And my monsters are very dangerous. And I don't want them to hurt me. So I'm going to do a attack and defense. Or, you know what? I'm just going to go out all the defense and let those guys hit them. And I'll just try and stay alive. Okay, well, here's your options for that. Here's your maneuvers. And what it gives you is doing. I went all out attack. I'm a berserker. I'm just going to hit, and I don't care. They can hit me. I'll rely on my armor and toughness. And, I'm just going to kill them before they kill me. Well, okay, well, there are rules for that. And, they're like that big. It's 3 paragraphs maybe. So it's great. It just goes over a lot of options. It's got charts for you, tables that you can look things up. Holding your breath. It's a very complete game system. It allows you to have scouting ahead paragraph on how to do this, marching order, basically in the dungeon, how to explore. Exploits is basically, like I said, for the GM stuff. Influence rules, that's what the bards will be using. Fright checks. This is an improvement. I hadn't really looked at this yet. I got the PDF, so when I was a backstarter, I got those, and I hadn't really skimmed through some of these rules yet. So I roll 3 dice 6 plus my margin of failure. This dragon's big, scary. He gives me a big penalty. That little wimpy guy gives me a bonus. He's not scary. And then it's like, oh, okay, so this is what I rolled. Oh, wow. It gave me a 10-point mental disadvantage. And, oh, here's some suggestions kind of thing. Kind of handy. Nice little chart. reaction rolls, monsters, are they scary, or can you, bribe them with some food or something like that? Sacrificial virgin. Maybe you've got a minotaur in your party, and you're fighting, you come across some goblins, and, well, they don't really mind minotaurs. So maybe you let the minotaur instead of the elf do the talking for you. And most of the time you'd let the elf instead of the minotaur do the talking, but everybody has their little thing. It goes over a lot of stuff, how to use different things. Exploits, again, is mostly the GM's kind of book. Okay, the GM definitely needs to be reading this, but the players should also read it because there's a lot of good material in them. And again, it's on the back. It's got its own custom tables. It's awesome. Look at that. Light and vision comes up all the time. I have a candle. I have a dark. I have a torch. I'm going to throw my continual light spell. I'm out in daylight. What are my light and my lantern? A couple different helmet lamp, bullseye lantern, the light jet spell, which is a spell for creating a cone of light coming out of your hand, like a flashlight. Then falling damage. I just fell off the cliff. How much damage did I take? Well, how high is the cliff? 50 feet. Okay. 50 feet. Yeah. Forget I said feet. We'll just say yards because that's what the table said. I can do my 3 multiply over 3 better. So it's a 50-yard fall. 50-yard feet. 6 die plus 2. Looks like. My light's going to... Yeah, 6 die plus 2. That's going to hurt and probably kill me. Okay? But 50-yard fall probably would, right? I'm going to fall 10 yards. Okay? Well, that's 3 dice. That's going to really hurt. But you should live through it. Okay? You may have a broken bone or something like that, but you'll live through it, and you may come out, oh wow, I rolled 3, yay! So you're hardly hurt. Wounding modifiers, so different things. It's like, well, I'm going to hit you with this kind of damage, so corrosion damage, crushing, cutting, burning, against certain kinds of targets, like unliving. Okay, well, it takes more damage from here, less damage there. All in a handy little chart. And it's certain kind of things there that's handy. Piercing damage, this is handy. Throwing. How much can I throw? How far can I throw it? How much damage will I do with this rock if I hit you with it? Right there. Okay. There's a lot of good stuff here that's on these backs of the book. It's very efficient use of space, which I love. Unfortunately, that means I don't expect to see these material outside of the box set. I know some people have been asking for them and want them, but without that, I don't expect it. I expect it to be in the box set. I don't expect them, they might be a PDF. I'd kind of like to see some of them, especially spells. We'll see. But I don't expect you to see a printed copy outside of the box set. It goes over quite a bit of material here. Again, this is a complete game system. Based on GURPS, so later on, when you want to expand, go to higher levels, more power, add more variety, just, pull out the regular GURPS rules. You can start by just adding individual supplements, like DF, whatever, Dungeon Fantasy Barbarian, Denizen Barbarians, I forget the number, because I've got a Barbarian, it's a basic rule, but I want to add more oomph to them. Well, use those rules, they give you some more stuff. They're all balanced with the regular GURPS system, so you don't have to worry about anything really special or complicated. Some of them, there'll be more experience, so you need to be a little bit more experienced before you do that kind of thing. At least somebody in the group should be. But they added a lot of variety. There's no limit to where you can go with GURPS. GURPS is just, it really is an awesome system. And the Dungeon Fantasy, which I'm hoping to see on store shelves, will do a lot of stuff towards getting a nice, good, I can play it right out of the box. All the rules are there. Including an adventure. I can play it, good to go, boom, done, had a great time, want more. That's what I'm hoping to see from this, because GURPS is just a fantastic system, but one of the problems is it can be intimidating. It's, it's a buffet. You go in there, and if you've got 5 items on the menu, it's not really hard to figure out what you're going to eat, okay? But if you go into a buffet that's, American, Chinese, Asian, Indian, Thai, Mexican, now you get kind of complicated. It's like, wow, okay? I mean, restaurants don't even do that, okay? They specialize for a reason, okay? Now, that means on any given day where that guy's not going to come here. He's in the mood for this kind of food. So he's not going to come here. With GURPS, doesn't matter what you're into. It's there and available and ready for you when you want it. But all of that confusion, all of that choices can make things complicated. Not really so much in play, but when you're designing a little bit. But when you're designing your character, you've got so many choices to choose from as to, what kind of character to build that a lot of people find that intimidating. And that's their first thing. You build your character, right? So when you get through that, it's good to go. There's a Delvers to Go, which I guess was PDF only. Weird. Which was pre-made characters. That might be buried in one of these, buried in some books like that. But maybe not. It might be in the GM's Companion Guide. So anyway, great. I'm really happy with my purchase. It's a good box set. Solid, oomphy, good heavy cardboard too. So I don't have to worry about that falling apart on me anytime soon. All right, thank you for my video. This is the first time I've ever done it. I'll be doing a few more random videos kind of thing. Go to my blog. I'll have the description when I upload the video. I have a blog that is great for you if you're new to GURPS, and this video assumes you kind of are. And what it is it describes a lot of information on, if you're new to GURPS, what kind of books you might want, what kind of genres, how to look up stuff, as an FAQ for dispelling a lot of the myths. People talk about GURPS. It's been around longer than almost every other game. D&D came first as far as the main role-playing games. GURPS wasn't that far behind. It's based off the Fantasy Trip, which came out a year later, maybe really close. I mean, I was playing them both in high school. But it was one of the earliest generic role-playing systems. It's been around a long time. A character, 4th edition character, is recognizable as a 1st edition character. The rules are pretty compatible. There's some expansions and clarifications and stuff that's been added over time, but the rules are mostly the same. And it's a point-based system, so some of the costs have changed too. But you can play a 1st edition character in a 4th edition game. So it's a really great system. And this box set is a way of trying to cut it down. My blog or website is designed to help you with the choices, help you know where to go to find things, just to try to make it easier. Feel free to ask suggestions. I'll post whatever you guys need to make it easier. Mook is another one. He wrote that How to Be a Great GM thing I showed earlier, which is great for a GM who's a little overwhelmed. It's like, wow, I want to play a cinematic kind of game in here, and what rules do I need to do? His website's good for that. We've got a bunch of authors who write books who have their own blog, other people who haven't written a book or articles, but they have their own blog or websites or whatever. The Steve Jackson forums has authors on there and staff, and so you'll get quality answers to most of your GURPS questions, from the company mouthpieces, or from somebody, it's like, I want to know about this grappling thing. Well, you know what? The author posts there. Okay? So you get a lot of help there. So it can be overwhelming when you first look at the sheer volume, okay? There's a lot of material. The game is, basically, you can still use original material. And the game's been out for since the 80s, so, over 20 years. So there's a lot of materials come out. They come out with new stuff every month, just about. So there's a lot of stuff out there, and that gives you a lot of choices, which is awesome, but can be overwhelming. We have ways to help you with that. All right. Hey, listen, thank you again. I know I ramble, but hey, that's what Fast Forward's for, right? Okay, thank you. You all have a great one, and enjoy your Dungeon Fantasy role-playing game in GURPS. Thank you very much. Bye.